At the beginning of the first episode, Ichigo tells Aoba that Wakaba and Ko are meant to be together because they were born on the same day in the same hospital, and Wakaba essentially repeats this when she and Ko pass a wedding ceremony on their 11th birthday. There isn't any mystery here. At this point, the show wants us to think that this is a story about romance forged by destiny. And then Wakaba dies, forcing us to forget everything we just learned about destiny and start over. But the show quietly gives us two more instances of foreshadowing in its first few episodes, keeping alive its mystical quality and leaving us wondering how it will follow through. The first is when Wakaba asks Aoba what kind of boy she likes, and she says one that can throw a fastball at 100 miles per hour. Of course, there are only a few dozen people on Earth that can do that, and later in life Aoba chastises anyone who brings up something that she said when she was 10 years old, but at the time Wakaba takes it literally. She convinces Ko to take up Aoba's workout routine, hoping that he will become a great pitcher, not because she wants Aoba to fall in love with him, but because she wants her approval for their eventual marriage. But Wakaba's dream, the other instance of foreshadowing, serves as the show's central question. Right before heading off to camp, Wakaba tells Akaishi that she had a dream where he was the catcher, Go was the pitcher, and Aoba was in center field playing at sold-out Koshien. And though it's difficult to see at first, this is where our story actually begins. You can't blame Aoba for not believing in Wakaba's dream. She was told that Wakaba and Ko would be together forever, which turned out to be tragically false. She was also told that she would be in center field at Koshien, which isn't possible when girls aren't allowed to play in official games under the rules of the Japanese High School Baseball Federation. It's pretty easy for her to ridicule destiny when it's these two things she's been asked to believe. In a way, her incredulity informs her decision to back away from seriously pursuing baseball. Japan has both a national team and a professional league for women, and Aoba consistently shows that she can not only hold her own with the boys, but compete with the best girls in the country. But throughout the show, she demonstrates not just a hesitation, but a sheer unwillingness to challenge herself against the best competition in the sport she loves. I'm sure there are societal pressures and cultural expectations I don't understand that influence Aoba's decision to step away from the spotlight. And if I could cautiously add to those, I would say that Wakaba's dream and death have taught her to manage her expectations. It's not only Wakaba's dream for Aoba to play at Koshien, but also Aoba's, and that she learns from a young age that her dream cannot possibly come true likely convinces her to be careful pursuing any dream at all. But an unlikely character shows up to prove that Wakaba's dream isn't just a fantasy, but a premonition. On paper, you could argue that the introduction of Takigawa Akane is a cop-out. Her defining features are that she looks like Wakaba, sounds like Wakaba, acts like Wakaba, and loves Aoba and Ko just as much as Wakaba did. When she meets the Tsukishima family, she slides into Wakaba's place, taking up shifts at the cafe, taking care of Momiji, and even sleeping in Wakaba's bed with Aoba's blessing. If you were to complain that the show basically reanimated the story's most likable character for the sake of getting her back into the show, I would have no counter-argument. But beyond resurrecting Wakaba and complicating Aoba and Ko's budding romance, Akane serves a more essential function to the story as the missing piece to Wakaba's dream. The show uses her introduction as the turning point, using the opportunity for a mid-series recap episode, but the real turning point in the plot comes a few episodes later. Aoba catches Akane sketching Ko's pitching motion during a practice game, and when that sketch later turns into a drawing that wins a competition to become the official logo of the next summer Koshien, Aoba assumes that it's Ko's body she recreates for the logo. But as Ko points out, it's not his body in the drawing, but Aoba's. The face is blurred out, so it's difficult to tell from our end, but considering he copies her form, he's probably the best person to tell whether the player on the poster is him or Aoba. And as he notices this, he tells Aoba that she's going to be hanging up for everyone at Koshien to see, right in prime position on the scoreboard in center field. Now that's not exactly how Aoba wanted to end up in center field at Koshien, but it provides a path to Wakaba's premonition. Whenever Akaishi or Ko mention a dream up to this point, they always conveniently leave out Aoba's place in center field because it makes the dream less believable. But when the dream's most unrealistic detail is the first domino to fall, everything else falls into the hands of our characters. It's these sort of quiet details that give Cross Game a bit more magic for an attentive viewer. You don't need to notice these things to enjoy the show. I certainly didn't the first time around, and I still loved the show to death. But on a second viewing for, I don't know, making multi-part video essays for example, these magical qualities give the show that much more depth and make repeat viewings a rewarding experience for all the plot details that are easy to miss the first time around. Wakaba's dream serves as the show's engine. It's the mechanism that gets Ko playing baseball, Aoba to follow through on her sister's wishes, and Akane to inject a bit more desire into our two leads. But this isn't really a baseball show, it's a romance. So what does the premonition say on that front? That's a bit more complicated.